I spent the night in an abandoned hotel. On the wall, "Don't lie in the bed. He'll sense you." I've been sitting in my car for the past 6 hours, parked outside a Denny's just off I-90 in western Massachusetts. My phone is at 12% and I haven't slept in almost 38 hours. I'm writing this because I don't know what else to do, and I'm terrified that if I try to sleep again, whatever I encountered in that hotel will find me. For context, I'm a 31-year-old freelance photographer from Providence. I've been working on a personal project documenting abandoned places throughout New England for the past 2 years, old factories, forgotten hospitals, that sort of thing. I've been inside dozens of decaying buildings, often alone. I know the risks: collapsing floors, asbestos, squatters, but I've always been careful. I carry a good mag light, wear a respirator when needed, and always tell someone where I'm going. 3 days ago, I heard about the Westfield Summit Hotel from a fellow urban explorer on Discord. Apparently, it was a luxury mountain resort built in the 1920s that operated until 2008 when the recession hit. The owners filed for bankruptcy, and the place has been abandoned ever since. The guy who told me about it, username decay_seeker, said the hotel was largely intact, with furniture and fixtures still in place, frozen in time. It sounded perfect for my project that I did my research before heading out. The property sits on private land about 20 minutes from Westfield, Massachusetts, tucked away in the foothills of the Berkshires. According to public records, it's tied up in some legal battle between heirs of the original owners, meaning no development can happen until that's resolved. Perfect conditions for urban exploration, remote enough to be undisturbed, but not so difficult to access that I'd need serious hiking gear. That I drove up yesterday morning, leaving Providence around 8 a.m. I brought my Canon EOS R5, 3 lenses, tripod, extra batteries, my usual exploration kit, flashlights, first aid supplies, water, protein bars, and a sleeping bag. Yes, I'd planned to stay overnight. I've done this before in abandoned places. Nothing gives you better early morning light for photos than already being on location at dawn. The drive was uneventful. I parked about half a mile from the property, hiding my Honda Civic behind an overgrown maintenance shed. I didn't see any "no trespassing" signs, but I'm not naive. From there, I hiked up an old service road until I spotted the hotel through the trees. The Westfield Summit was impressive, a sprawling 5-story stone and timber structure with a grand entrance and wings extending out on either side. The architecture reminded me of those classic Adirondack great camps. Nature was reclaiming it slowly. Vines crawled up the walls, and saplings pushed through cracks in the circular driveway. But the building itself looked structurally sound from the outside. That I spent the afternoon photographing the exterior and grounds. There was an empty swimming pool filled with dead leaves, a tennis court with a tree growing through the cracked surface, and various outbuildings. I found an unlocked service entrance at the back and made my way inside around 3 p.m. The interior was exactly what I'd hoped for, an eerie time capsule. The lobby still had its check-in desk, leather sofas, and a massive stone fireplace. Light streamed through dirty windows, illuminating dancing dust particles. The air smelled musty but not terrible. I methodically worked my way through the ground floor, the restaurant with tables still set with moldy tablecloths, a bar with empty bottles still lined up, a ballroom with a grand piano in the corner. Nothing about the place felt particularly threatening. I've been in far creepier abandoned buildings. Sure, there were the usual unsettling noises, creaking wood, distant drips of water, the occasional scurry of what was probably a squirrel or raccoon. But that's par for the course. As the daylight began to fade, I started looking for a suitable place to set up camp for the night. The upper floors had guest rooms, but many had water damage or mold issues. On the 3rd floor, I found what must have been a premium corner suite that was in surprisingly good condition. The large windows would give me perfect light for sunrise shots. The room had a king-sized bed with a bare mattress, a desk, armchair, and attached bathroom. It was dusty but otherwise intact. I unrolled my sleeping bag on top of the mattress. I never actually sleep directly on beds in abandoned buildings, and set up my gear for the next morning. I ordered pizza delivery to a spot near where I'd parked my car, hiked down to get it, and brought it back to my room. After dinner, I continued exploring with my flashlight, capturing some night shots of the empty corridors and moonlight streaming through broken skylights. Around 11 p.m., I returned to my room, ready to get some sleep before the 5:30 a.m. sunrise. That's when I noticed it. On the wall opposite the bed, barely visible in the beam of my flashlight, someone had written something. At first, I thought it was just graffiti. Abandoned places often have tags or messages from previous visitors. But as I got closer, I realized this wasn't spray paint or marker. The letters appeared to be scratched into the wallpaper with something sharp. "Don't lie in the bed. He'll sense you." A cold feeling washed over me. The message itself wasn't what bothered me initially. I figured it was probably left by some kid trying to spook others. What disturbed me was that I hadn't noticed it earlier when I first checked out the room. Had I somehow missed it? Or, no. I was certain it hadn't been there before. I took out my phone and scrolled through the photos I'd taken of the room earlier that afternoon. In the shots that captured that wall, there was no message. Nothing. I zoomed in to be sure, but the wall was blank in my photos from just hours earlier. The rational part of my brain immediately went to the obvious explanation: someone else was in the hotel. Another explorer, a squatter, or local teens messing around. They must have entered while I was out getting pizza and decided to play a prank. I called out, "Hello? Is anyone there?" My voice echoed down the hall. No response. I grabbed my mag light and did a sweep of the nearby rooms and the hallway. Nothing seemed disturbed, and I found no evidence of anyone else. The thick layer of dust on the floor would have shown footprints, but the only ones I could see were my own. Back in the room, I examined the message more closely. The scratches looked fresh, no dust had settled into them yet. I ran my finger along one of the letters and felt a slight dampness. The hair on the back of my neck stood up. If someone had written this, they had done it very recently. I considered leaving right then, but it was nearly midnight, pitch dark outside, and I had a half-mile hike through the woods to get back to my car. The risk of injuring myself stumbling around in the dark forest seemed greater than whatever vague threat the message implied. Besides, I had my sleeping bag on top of the mattress. Technically, I wouldn't be lying in the bed. With that rationalization, I decided to stay, though I wedged the room's desk chair under the doorknob for good measure. I kept my clothes and shoes on, my flashlight within reach, and tried to sleep. I must have drifted off despite my unease because I suddenly jerked awake to complete darkness. My flashlight had turned off, and the room was pitch black except for faint moonlight coming through the window. My phone showed 3:17 a.m. Something had woken me. A sound? A sensation? I wasn't sure, but my heart was racing. Then I felt it, a subtle movement beneath me. Not the mattress itself, but something inside it. It was such a slight motion that I might have imagined it, a gentle shifting like someone turning over in their sleep. I froze, not daring to move. The movement stopped. For several minutes, I lay perfectly still, straining my ears in the silence. Then it came again, a definite movement under the thin layer of my sleeping bag and the mattress below. Like someone stretching. I could feel the pressure points change beneath my back. I carefully, silently reached for my flashlight. As my fingers closed around it, I heard something that turned my blood to ice. A sigh. A long, contented sigh, as if someone had just settled into a comfortable position. It came from directly beneath me, muffled by the mattress. I switched on my flashlight and rolled off the bed in one frantic movement, landing hard on the floor. The beam illuminated the empty bed, my sleeping bag crumpled on the stained mattress. Nothing was visible, but I swear the mattress had a slight depression in it, as if someone were lying there, invisible. "Who's there?" I demanded, my voice shaking. The depression in the mattress slowly rose, returning to its normal shape. As if whatever had been there was now getting up. I backed toward the door, grabbed my backpack, and fumbled with the chair blocking the door. As I was about to flee, I heard the same sighing sound, now from the floor between me and the bed. Soft footsteps on the carpet, coming toward me. I couldn't see anything. My flashlight beam cut through empty air, but something was moving toward me. I could hear it, feel its presence displacing the air. I yanked the door open and ran. Down the hallway, down the stairs, not caring about the noise I was making. I left most of my equipment behind, my tripod, some lenses, taking only my camera and backpack. As I raced through the lobby, I heard heavy footsteps descending the stairs behind me. Fast, deliberate steps. Following me. I burst through the front entrance and sprinted down the overgrown driveway, not bothering with the service road I'd used earlier. Branches whipped my face as I crashed through the underbrush, guided only by my flashlight and pure adrenaline. The footsteps continued behind me for a while, then faded. By the time I reached my car, I was alone, or seemed to be. I started the engine and drove, not caring where, just away from there, and now I'm here, at this Denny's parking lot, trying to make sense of what happened. I've gone through the photos on my camera. Most are normal, just shots of an abandoned hotel, eerie but ordinary. But the last one, taken automatically when I dropped my camera as I fled, it shows the lobby from a low angle, tilted. And in the corner of the frame, at the base of the staircase, there's a distortion. A human-shaped blur. But not quite human. The proportions are wrong, the limbs too long, the head misshapen. I don't know what to do now. I can't go home. I have this irrational fear that it somehow knows where I live. That it sensed me, just like the warning said. That by lying on that bed, I somehow connected with it. Invited it. The staff at this Denny's are giving me concerned looks through the window. I've been sitting in the same spot for hours, occasionally charging my phone inside. I need to move soon, find somewhere to stay. But I'm terrified to sleep, because every time I close my eyes, I feel that gentle shifting sensation beneath me. Like someone getting comfortable. And sometimes, when it's quiet and I'm starting to drift off, I hear that contented sigh. Update. I checked into a Super 8 motel about 20 miles from the hotel. I was so exhausted I finally passed out around noon. I just woke up to find something that's making me panic. The sheets on the other side of my bed are disturbed, as if someone was lying next to me while I slept. There's even a depression in the pillow. I'm checking out immediately and heading to my sister's place in Burlington. I'll update if anything else happens, but honestly, I hope I never have anything more to add to this story. Update 2. It's been 24 hours since my last update. I made it to my sister's apartment in Burlington. She's out of town for work until tomorrow, so I have the place to myself. I thought I'd feel safer here, in a building with other people around, but something followed me. Last night, I set up my phone to record while I slept on her couch. I just reviewed the footage. For most of the video, it's just me sleeping. But at 3:17 a.m., the exact same time I woke up in the hotel, the couch cushion next to my head depresses, as if someone sat down. Then, the blanket covering me moves slightly, being lifted and pulled back, like someone getting under it with me. The recording picks up that same sighing sound. I'm leaving my sister a note and getting back on the road. I don't want whatever this is to be here when she gets home. I think I understand the message now. It wasn't warning hotel visitors not to sleep on the bed. It was warning the thing in the bed about us. Don't lie in the bed. He'll sense you. It was too late, I sensed it, and now it senses me. It knows where I am, always. And I think it's getting closer. If I stop posting updates, you'll know why.